Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I am so happy to be here on this snowy, beautiful day. On Wednesdays, thanks to our wonderful Sangha member Christopher, he invited us to study this book, Standing at the Edge by Roshi Joan Halifax. Roshi Joan is a Zen Buddhist, and she is in her 80s. She has traveled all over the world. She's dedicated her life to bring awareness of Buddhism, particularly as it relates to social justice and social injustice, particularly in places in Nepal. She was heavily involved in a medical clinic that provided service to rural folks in Nepal. She's also really involved in climate change and protecting the earth and its stewardship. So she wrote this wonderful book called Standing at the Edge. We've been studying this book for a couple of years, and we slowly make our way through it. For the last couple of weeks, we've been studying something in Buddhism that she brings forward, something called the six paramitas. And the six paramitas are qualities that we all already possess. The practice and the invitation is to bring them forward into our consciousness so that we can see where we can enhance those qualities within us, where we have some blind spots and where we're challenged, and to also take stock of when we're exercising these qualities in really profound and beautiful ways. The six paramitas are generosity, virtue, which is also discipline, patience, wholeheartedness, concentration, wisdom. And like so much in Buddhism, one cannot exist without the other. When you are cultivating wisdom, you are also cultivating patience. When you are cultivating patience, you are also cultivating concentration, and so on, and so on. Today, I'd like to share with you Roshi's words on the paramitas of concentration and wisdom. You'll recall that the last of the Eight Noble Truths, the eight virtues on the Noble Eightfold Path, is wise concentration. This is a challenging quality for many people on the journey of recovery. Many of us have suffered for years of distraction, agitation, irritability. It's very difficult for the mind to settle down. We feel discouraged because we can't feel like we can sit still. And so one of the things we do in the Spokane Sangha is we take a moment to just drop into the body and into the mind and take notice of where you are in this present moment. And if you're feeling agitated or distracted, simply identify it. Agitation, distraction, irritability, discomfort. No need to add any judgments there. Simply observe. And then see if you can gently offer yourself a way to soothe that. Rather than trying to force yourself to sit still, maybe what you can do is get up and move around, even if you're in Soul Center. If you're online, get up, turn your camera off, go for a walk, make yourself a healthy snack or a cup of tea, water your plants, dump out your junk drawer. It doesn't matter. Sitting on a cushion very still is one way to meditate. And there are a million other ways. The best way is to honor yourself and meet yourself exactly as you are. That is mindfulness, present time awareness. So let's take a moment together and breathe, dropping into the body, dropping into the mind, allowing ourselves full permission to be exactly as we are. Roshi writes, the fifth paramita is concentration or attentiveness, which, along with patience, is a way to prevent escape from the present moment. I'm going to pause there a moment because so many of us have cultivated a very deep negative habit energy of escape. We've escaped to drugs and alcohol, food, social media, movies, sleep. Concentration is all about noticing that, simply being aware, paying attention. Concentration, and wise concentration, however, does not give anyone permission to judge what you're aware of. There's no need for it. We're simply creating a space that is neutral to observe what's going on in this moment. Roshi writes, the Buddha used a wonderful metaphor for our lack of attentiveness. Just as a monkey swinging through the trees grabs one branch and lets it go only to seize another, so too that which is called thought, mind, or consciousness arises and disappears continually, both day and night. It's why it's called monkey mind. We're reaching and grasping for the next branch, the next thought, and then the next thought, and then the next thought. If you have a mind anything like mine, I am such a dramatic script writer, and my best writing in my mind happens in my car while I'm driving. I can create like whole theatrical plays. I'm going to say this, and then my 16-year-old daughter is going to say something snarky, and then I'm going to respond this way, and then she's going to respond that way, and then we're going to have this interaction. And before I know it, I'm completely activated and agitated and pissed off and ready to fight or ready to be defensive, all in the fiction of my own making, all in my imagination. Monkey mind. The Buddha used another animal metaphor to exemplify concentration. He says, be like a deer in the forest, one who is alert, gentle, and present to whatever arises. A forest deer also symbolizes non-aggression and serenity. By emulating the deer, we can transform the monkey mind into the mind of a bodhisattva and gain access to compassion and wisdom. Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a very famous Zen master and who is probably singularly responsible for bringing mindfulness to Western consciousness, always encouraged us to be more like a lotus flower, to enjoy the conditions of our growth and to allow us to flower, to bloom slowly, one petal at a time, open to the sunlight and the rain. Completely open to life and its impermanence, recognizing that the lotus flower will have a death as well. And so is our consciousness continually flowering, dying, being reborn, flowering, dying, and so on. So let's just take a moment in the spirit of wise concentration and turn the gaze inward. And all I'd like you to do is bring forward the 4 pillars of mindfulness. These are 4 access points to concentrate your attention. On your body, how does your body feel? On your emotions and your mood, can you identify your mood? Can you identify its conditions? Your thoughts is the third pillar of mindfulness. What are you thinking? Can you just notice? And your thoughts are sort of connected to the 4th pillar of mindfulness, which is mental formations, something I call stories. What are your stories today? What are you making up in your imagination? We all do it. So allow your mind and your body some space to roam around this human experience and tap into the breath periodically as a place to anchor yourself. So if your mind should wander too far down your emotions, if the mind goes too deep into the body, come back to the breath and just breathe in and out. And let's do this for a couple of moments. Friends, one of the misunderstandings about meditation and the practices comprising meditation is that to be a good meditator, you have to have a mind that's silent and empty. And once again, I want to emphasize that that is one kind of meditation, and only one. And there are many, many, many other kinds of meditation. Cultivating concentration allows the mind space to slow down so that when the mind is really active, when it's distracted, when it's even distorted, we can slow it down enough to create space in between the thoughts to start seeing clearer, to allow the confusion to settle and allow our natural wisdom to come forward. Vipassana, deep-looking meditation, is a form of concentrated meditation that enables the mind to focus on a single thought or a situation or a person. And you begin to ask lots of questions around that, get really curious and friendly and gentle, so that you gain in understanding what's happening in your own mind and body. I bring this forward because of a very natural and normal occurrence on the journey of recovery, which is craving. And there are many people who experience cravings that are very scary. People have fearful thoughts of, oh my God, does this mean I'm going to relapse? And by coming into a meditative posture, we can look at that craving and get curious about it. Would you look at this? A craving has arisen, and I'm scared I'm going to relapse. But when I look at this present moment, I am not relapsing. I'm breathing, and I'm acknowledging a craving has arisen. Now I can get curious. Why is this craving here? Did I see a bottle? Am I bored? Did I have a stressful interaction? Am I anticipating something that's worrying me? Is there a memory that's haunting me in the background of my consciousness? All of these questions are wise concentration because they lead into a deeper understanding of our own mind and experience. All of which is anchored in the breath, anchored in the present moment. Alrighty. Friends, with that, let us end our practice today with a dedication of merit. And I'd like to bring forward the 8th century philosopher and Buddhist monk Shantideva. And Shantideva was a phenomenal human being by historical accounts. This was an individual that understood the Dharma with such depth and originality that he brought forward the 37 practices of the Bodhisattva. And the Bodhisattva is an individual who has experienced enlightenment and who chooses, in the Buddhist tradition, culturally and spiritually, to return to this earthly existence rather than having their consciousness go on for all eternity. They return and rebirth themselves into a human form to be a vehicle of liberation, freeing people from suffering. Shantideva reminds us that suffering is as infinite as the universe itself. Likewise, the journey of recovery and all the ways that we suffer and we heal is an infinite expression. We practice here together to open the mind and retrain the mind away from the narrative that would have us believe that we're doing it wrong, when in fact we're simply doing it our way. And our way may not always be all that great, but we get to learn from that. We get to be accountable to our own karma, its ripening and its decline. In the spirit of Shantideva, for as long as living beings remain, for as long as suffering remains, may I too remain to dispel the misery of the world. May each of you have peace today, ease in all your steps, beauty, and may you find a gentle spirit encouraging you, empowering you, reminding you that you are well loved. We'll see you next time. Namaste.